Hello. So we have been talking about the blues chromatic and we talked about octaves. So one thing I'm going to start talking about now is slapping into octaves. So slapping is a tongue blocking idea. So let's say, just to keep it simple, I'm going to block holes 1, 2, and 3 and play 4 to the right side of my mouth. So I'm not playing an octave. If I took my tongue away and kept blowing, I get the chord 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's called a lift. Now, when I was a kid, that was called a pull. Nowadays, a pull seems to mean when you're blocking the holes so much that no sound is happening, but you're still sending air through. So when you lift your tongue away, there's a little bit of a pop as the chord begins. So sometimes I may still use the word pull when I mean lift, because that's how I was taught. But in any case, you can do lifts and get like a good pa thing going on. And that tends to sound better on a diatonic because of where the chords are laid out. But it's good to know about pulls because a lot of times a pull is used just before a slap. So what is a slap? A slap is when you play a chord first and then place your tongue on the harmonica and only play the one note on the right normally, and go to a single note, but you do it all in one breath. Sorry. There was a good one. So that's a slap, right? So if I go, that was a slap, right? But it's good to know about pulls as well because sometimes you're going to play a single note, pull your tongue away and get a chord, and then go to a single note again. In that situation, the chord that was the pull chord became the chord for the upcoming slap. It was the same chord. And sometimes that's a really good technique to know about. So in any case, one of the things that, in my opinion, made George Smith so special is not only was he playing octaves, but he was slapping into the octaves. Right? Now if you do it quickly enough, you saw me use the button, I shouldn't have done that yet. It gets a really cool sound. And so what I'm going to do is put on a blues in the key of D, and I'm not going to push the button. And every sound I'm going to make will be an octave, but they will all be preceded by slaps. So this is really exaggerating what I'll sometimes do, okay? It is rare when I'm going to slap this often, but I want you to get an idea of what it sounds like. Right. So, there's lots of things you can do with slaps. This is just beginning, just getting the basic concept. I'm going to go into a bunch of ideas that you can do with slaps, and these ideas are applicable to the diatonic as well. But here's an important thing that I want to tell you about slapping into octaves, or anywhere really on the chromatic. When you're playing blues in the key of D, and you're using this method that we've been talking about of not pushing in the button, when you do a slap, the chord part of the slap doesn't have the button pushed in, so all of the notes that you're playing are white notes on the keyboard. Therefore, all of the notes that you're playing are going to harmonize in a blues in the key of D. It's going to sound good. But when you start dealing with other keys, you know, the chromatic can play in other keys, then sometimes when you play a slap, the notes that you're playing won't harmonize with the key. The notes in the chord won't harmonize with the key. The single note will harmonize, but the chord won't. So you have to really listen when you're doing slaps and make a decision whether or not you like the sound that is going on. Even in the key of D, there are ways that we're going to get to down the road, hopefully if I keep being inspired to do these lessons, when you're going to push in the button. So I may do something like this. Well, if I play a slap with the button in, the notes that are in the chord when I've got the button in may not harmonize with a blues in the key of D. Now there's all kinds of arguments that say if you do it quickly enough, it stops mattering so much about the harmony and it's more of just an effect, a feeling. Kind of like when you bend on the chromatic, you're not trying to get a note, you're trying to get a feeling, right? So there's all kinds of arguments about that. And personally, I don't care what you choose to do. I just want you to be aware that this argument is out there so that you can listen with big ears and decide whether or not you like it. If you like it, it's good. So that said, you know, I give harmonica lessons via Skype and FaceTime. I got a book for sale that I can get you on a PDF if you send me $15 to my PayPal, michaelrubinharmonica@gmail.com. And my website is michaelrubinharmonica.com. All right, hope to see you soon. Thank you.